The clock is ticking, and most veterans have no idea how fast the rules are changing. If you served, you earned your benefits. Period. But the government has a history of quietly tweaking the eligibility requirements, closing loopholes, and making the process harder, right when you need it most. We are facing several major legislative and administrative shifts in the coming months that could dramatically alter how the VA calculates your disability, how it defines dependency, and even how it funds critical programs. Delaying action is no longer an option if you want to secure the maximum benefits you earned and ensure your family is protected. You need to move now. We are going deep today, outlining the 15 critical VA resources and actions you must lock in immediately before these rule changes hit. This isn't just about filing a claim. This is about future-proofing your entire financial and medical security. Let's start immediately with the absolute foundation: securing your digital records and creating a permanent backup. This might sound basic, but it is the single most important defensive move you can make. When the VA changes rules, the first thing that happens is that they scrutinize your historical documentation more intensely. They often change the standard of proof, requiring more explicit evidence from decades ago. You need to download every single piece of data available through My Health Vet and the Blue Button report. Don't just rely on the VA's digital portal. Systems fail, access gets restricted, and digital records can be purged or archived in ways that make them inaccessible without a lengthy, formal request process. Think of the Blue Button report as the definitive snapshot of your medical history, as the VA currently sees it. Download your service, treatment records, your civilian medical records that the VA has linked, your current medication lists, and crucially, your past compensation and pension C&P exam results. You need physical copies or secured encrypted digital backups stored outside of the VA ecosystem. The sheer volume of data contained within these systems is staggering, encompassing everything from minor sick call visits in the early 1990s to complex surgical procedures performed last year. Every single data point, every single doctor's note, every single laboratory result needs to be meticulously downloaded and cataloged. Why is this urgent? Because when the rules change, they often target the admissibility of older evidence. If the VA decides that C&P exams older than 5 years require additional corroboration, having the raw original reports in your hand prevents them from delaying your claim while they search through deep archives. Furthermore, if you ever need to challenge a rating decision in the future, the ability to instantly reference the exact records they used to make the original decision is invaluable. This is not a 5-minute task. This is an hours-long process of clicking, downloading, and verifying the integrity of hundreds, perhaps thousands, of pages of documentation. Do not skip this step. Future changes to the digital interface or even potential cybersecurity incidents could render your records temporarily or permanently unavailable. Securing your records now is buying insurance against administrative chaos. We are talking about ensuring the continuity of evidence, a foundational principle in any legal or administrative appeal process. If you can't prove what the VA knew about your condition on a specific date, you lose leverage. This proactive archiving step mitigates that risk entirely. It's about creating a personal, verifiable paper trail that transcends any future VA system update or policy shift regarding data retention and accessibility. Next, and this is a deadline you cannot ignore, filing an intent to file, ITF, for every potential claim. This is a critical legal maneuver that establishes your effective date for benefits, potentially saving you thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in retroactive payments. An ITF locks in your effective date for 1 full year. Why is this urgent right now? Because if the VA changes the criteria for a presumptive condition, say they tighten the requirements for exposure duration, under the PACT Act, or they alter the list of recognized conditions. Filing an ITF before that rule change hits ensures that your claim is processed under the more favorable, older rules. This is a grandfathering mechanism you must exploit. Even if you are not ready to submit all your medical evidence, even if you are waiting for a diagnosis, even if you are just thinking about filing for that secondary condition that's been bothering you, file the ITF. Use the VA Gov portal or VA Form 210966 immediately. This small administrative step buys you 365 days of protection against legislative or regulatory shifts. If you wait until the rule change is announced, it's too late. The difference between an effective date established today versus one established 6 months from now, especially for a high-value disability claim, can easily exceed the cost of a new car. Do not leave that money on the table. The ITF is a declaration of intent, a legally binding placeholder that reserves your spot in line. The complexity of the VA system means that rule changes are often implemented without massive public fanfare, often buried deep within the Federal Register. By filing the ITF, you are essentially creating a time capsule for your claim, ensuring that the date of your expressed intent precedes any unfavorable regulatory shift. This is particularly crucial for claims related to Agent Orange exposure, toxic exposure under the PACT Act, or complex musculoskeletal issues that may require extensive civilian medical documentation. If the VA were to suddenly change the standard for connecting Gulf War service to certain chronic multi-symptom illnesses, having that ITF filed now means your claim is adjudicated under the previous, potentially less restrictive definitions. It is a strategic administrative move that costs nothing but yields immense financial security. Furthermore, encourage every veteran you know, even those who think their service was too short or their injury too minor, to file an ITF. It is the easiest way to ensure they retain the maximum possible retroactive pay should they decide to pursue compensation later. The administrative backlog at the VA is immense. Securing your effective date now ensures that when your claim is finally processed, you receive the maximum back pay legally available, often covering years of benefits. Third, maximizing your VA healthcare enrollment and reviewing your priority group. Many veterans assume that because they are receiving disability compensation, their health care is automatically maximized. That is often false. Your access to specialized care, prescription copays, and crucial preventive services is dictated by your priority group, which is determined by a combination of your service-connected disability rating, your income, and whether you qualify for specific programs like aid and attendance. The urgency here stems from potential future means testing. As the VA budget strains under the weight of massive new programs like the PACT Act, there is always discussion in Congress about tightening eligibility for higher priority groups, Groups 7 and 8, based on income. If you are currently eligible for a higher priority group based on a recent disability rating increase or a change in your income status, you need to formally enroll or update your status. Now, lock in that priority group 1 through 6 status while the criteria remain consistent. This ensures you maintain the lowest possible copays or even zero copays for medications and services. Losing access to low-cost prescriptions alone could cost a veteran hundreds of dollars a month. Reviewing your priority group is not just about saving money, it's about access. Higher priority groups often get faster scheduling and access to specialty clinics that lower groups might struggle to utilize. If you have recently achieved a 50% or higher rating, you are likely in priority group 1 or 2, which grants you access to comprehensive care with no copays. Ensure the VA system reflects this. Don't wait for the annual enrollment verification. Be proactive. A simple administrative error could mistakenly place you in a lower group, leading to unexpected bills. Correcting these errors retroactively is a bureaucratic nightmare. Act now to confirm your status and secure your access to care under the current established rules. This proactive verification is essentially auditing the VA's record of your eligibility. We must consider the potential for legislative changes that might introduce new income thresholds or asset tests for certain priority groups, especially those outside of the service-connected categories. Locking in your status now based on current regulations ensures that even if future rules become more restrictive, your existing enrollment is protected. This is particularly relevant for veterans who rely on the VA for primary care and specialized treatment for chronic conditions. The stability of your access to care should not be left to chance or the potential volatility of congressional budget negotiations. Secure your priority group status today to guarantee uninterrupted, low-cost medical services for the foreseeable future, insulating yourself from potential future administrative hurdles designed to manage budgetary constraints. Fourth, and this is a resource nearly every veteran overlooks, the VA dental benefit loophole. Most veterans know that dental care is only provided if you are 100% service-connected or if your dental condition is directly related to a service-connected disability. However, there is a critical temporary window of eligibility that many miss, and it is frequently targeted for administrative change due to cost. If you were recently discharged within 180 days and meet specific criteria, like having served 90 days or more, you are eligible for one-time comprehensive dental treatment. This is not just a cleaning, this is major restorative work, fillings, extractions, and often prosthetics. If you are within this 180-day window, or if you know a veteran who is, they must apply immediately. The VA has historically tried to tighten the criteria for this initial dental treatment, sometimes reducing the window or adding new prerequisites. Secure this comprehensive dental examination and treatment now while the rules are still relatively permissive. Dental health is inextricably linked to overall health, and neglecting it can lead to severe secondary health issues, including cardiovascular problems. Using this benefit now prevents costly civilian dental bills later. If you miss the 180-day window, your only options are the highly restrictive 100% rule or paying out of pocket. Don't let a procedural deadline cost you your oral health. Furthermore, if you are rated 100% P&T, permanent and total, ensure your dental eligibility is clearly documented. Future rule changes might differentiate between 100% scheduler and 100% P&T for ancillary benefits, like dental care. Confirming your P&T status grants you lifelong access to comprehensive dental benefits, a benefit that civilian insurance often costs thousands of dollars annually to secure. The urgency here is twofold: maximizing the initial discharge window and solidifying the P&T benefit against potential future distinctions. The VA's dental program is one of the most expensive ancillary benefits, making it a frequent target for efficiency reviews and rule tightening. Securing a comprehensive dental workup now can mitigate decades of future dental expenses and health risks. This is a benefit that often requires scheduling appointments well in advance, so initiating the process immediately upon discharge or confirmation of P&T status is essential to beat the clock. Fifth, reviewing dependency and indemnity compensation, DIC, eligibility and documentation. DIC is the monthly tax-free benefit paid to the surviving spouse, children, or dependent parents of a veteran whose death was related to their service or who was rated 100% P&T for a specified period before death. This is not for the veteran but for their family. The urgency here is driven by two potential rule changes: the definition of dependent and changes to the look-back period for 100% ratings. If you are 100% P&T, the surviving spouse is eligible for DIC if the veteran was rated 100% P&T for at least 10 years immediately preceding death, or 5 years from the date of marriage. Future legislative changes could extend these look-back periods, making it harder for surviving spouses to qualify. What you need to do now is ensure all dependency records are flawless. Is your marriage certificate on file? Are the birth certificates of all dependent children securely linked to your VA profile? Are your current and past spouses clearly documented, especially if there were previous marriages that ended in divorce? Any ambiguity in dependency records can cause massive delays and denials for your survivors when they are grieving and financially vulnerable. DIC is the financial lifeline for many surviving families. Furthermore, if you have adult children who are deemed helpless, unable to support themselves due to a disability that occurred before age 18, their dependent status must be proactively confirmed and documented with the VA now. Changes to the criteria for helpless child status are often introduced to save costs. Securing that status ensures they remain protected regardless of future rule shifts. This is a critical estate planning move, ensuring that the legacy of your service continues to protect your loved ones. Don't wait for a crisis to discover a bureaucratic flaw in your dependency documentation. DIC benefits are subject to complex rules regarding remarriage and cohabitation, and these rules are frequently reviewed for potential tightening. By proactively auditing and updating all dependency records, you are minimizing the administrative burden on your surviving family members during an incredibly difficult time. This level of preparedness ensures that the benefit is paid swiftly and without unnecessary legal challenges, securing their financial stability when they need it most. Sixth, utilizing and maximizing the Veteran Readiness and Employment, VR&E, Chapter 31. Benefit. VR&E is one of the most powerful yet underutilized benefits available, offering education, job training, resume assistance, and often a substantial subsistence allowance. The urgency here is twofold: increased scrutiny on eligibility and potential cuts to the subsistence allowance. As more veterans use the post-9/11 GI Bill, the VA often tightens the requirements for Chapter 31, which is designed for veterans with service-connected disabilities that create an employment handicap. If you have a service-connected disability rating and are struggling to find or maintain suitable employment, apply for VR&E immediately. Don't assume you won't qualify. The application process itself involves a comprehensive evaluation of your skills, your disability limitations, and your career goals. Locking in your eligibility now ensures that you can access the benefits, including tuition, books, and the monthly stipend, before any potential changes to the definition of employment handicap or reductions in the subsistence allowance rates. Future budgetary constraints could lead to prioritizing specific career fields or imposing stricter limits on the length of training. Getting accepted now means you are grandfathered into the current, more expansive program structure. VR&E is a life-changing resource that bridges the gap between military service and civilian career success, providing individualized support far beyond what the standard GI Bill offers. If you are a veteran with a disability rating of 20% or higher and are facing employment difficulties, the time to act is now. The definition of an employment handicap is constantly being refined by the VA, and historically, these refinements tend to become more restrictive, requiring a higher burden of proof to demonstrate the causal link between the disability and the inability to secure or maintain gainful employment. By initiating the VR&E process now, you are submitting your claim under the current, established definitions, increasing your chances of approval. The subsistence allowance, which helps cover living expenses during training, is also subject to annual review and potential legislative adjustments. Securing your enrollment ensures that you benefit from the current rate structure. This program is an investment in your long-term economic stability. Do not delay securing this invaluable resource. Seventh, securing documentation for aid and attendance, A&A, or housebound benefits. These are additional monthly payments added to the basic VA pension or disability compensation for veterans who require the aid of another person for daily living, A&A, or who are largely confined to their homes, housebound. The urgency here is tied to potential changes in asset limits and the look-back period. A&A is often confused with Medicaid, but it has distinct rules. However, the VA has been increasingly scrutinizing the financial assets of applicants, particularly non-service-connected veterans applying for the basic pension plus A&A. While the rules are currently clearer for service-connected veterans, any legislative movement to tighten means testing for all VA benefits could impact A&A. If you or a family member is currently meeting the criteria for A&A, requiring assistance with bathing, dressing, feeding, or managing medical care, you must gather the necessary medical evidence and secure a formal medical opinion now. This requires detailed statements from a physician stating the need for assistance. Future rule changes are highly likely to extend the financial look-back period, making it much harder for veterans to qualify by transferring assets. Lock in the medical documentation demonstrating the need for A&A under the current established medical criteria. This benefit provides essential funds to pay for in-home care or assisted living, preventing financial disaster for aging or severely disabled veterans. The cost of care is astronomical, and A&A provides a crucial subsidy. Act today to secure the physician statements and functional assessments that prove eligibility. The VA's requirements for medical evidence regarding A&A are notoriously strict, demanding specific language and detailed descriptions of the veteran's functional limitations. By obtaining this documentation now, while the current legal standard of proof is in place, you protect your future eligibility. Furthermore, the financial thresholds and asset limitations for the non-service-connected pension, which A&A is often added to, are constantly being reviewed. If you anticipate needing this benefit in the near future, securing your documentation now insulates you from potential future changes to asset transfer rules or increased penalty periods for gifting assets. This is about securing long-term care funding stability. Eighth, understanding and enrolling in the Comprehensive Caregiver Support Program, CSP. The CSP provides training, psychological counseling, and a monthly stipend to primary family caregivers of eligible veterans. While the VA has recently expanded this program, there are continuous discussions about refining the eligibility criteria, especially concerning older veterans and those with mental health conditions. The urgency is to enroll now while the current broad eligibility standards are in place. The expansion of the CSP has led to massive demand, and administrative tightening is almost inevitable. If you are a caregiver for a veteran who needs continuous supervision or assistance due to a service-connected disability, you must complete the application process immediately. This program provides not only financial relief via the stipend, but also essential respite care, which is vital for preventing caregiver burnout. Future rule changes might increase the minimum required level of assistance or reduce the stipend amounts to manage budgetary pressures. Locking in your CSP enrollment now ensures access to these critical services and the stipend based on the current, more favorable criteria. The CSP is divided into two groups, and the VA is constantly refining the requirements for Group 2, the older cohort. Ensure your veteran's conditions are documented clearly to meet the current standard of need for personal safety and daily function. This is a benefit that directly supports the stability of the veteran's home environment. The VA's evaluation process for the CSP is rigorous, often involving home visits and functional assessments. Initiating this process now, before any administrative changes increase the scrutiny or lengthen the wait times, is paramount. The monthly stipend can be a significant financial contribution to the household, and the respite care offered is invaluable. Secure this support system today to ensure the long-term sustainability of the veteran's care at home. Ninth, the PACT Act Presumptive Conditions Documentation Audit. The PACT Act is the largest expansion of veteran health care and benefits in decades, adding dozens of presumptive conditions related to toxic exposure, burn pits, Agent Orange, Gulf War. While the law is passed, the VA is still issuing guidance and refining the internal processes for rating these conditions. The urgency is to ensure your documentation perfectly aligns with the VA's current, evolving interpretation of the law. If you served in a covered area and have a presumptive condition, you must ensure your medical records explicitly mention the connection to the service location and exposure. Don't rely solely on the presumptive status. Strengthen your claim. Gather buddy statements, lay evidence, and detailed timelines of your deployment. Future rule changes are likely to focus on the duration or intensity of exposure required for the presumption to apply, especially for veterans who had short deployments. By proactively gathering robust lay and medical evidence now, you future-proof your claim against potential tightening of the exposure requirements. Furthermore, if you filed a claim for one of these conditions before the PACT Act was enacted and were denied, you need to file a supplemental claim immediately, referencing the PACT Act. The VA is actively reviewing these legacy denials, but administrative errors are common. Do not wait for the VA to find your file. Force the issue by filing the supplemental claim now to secure the earliest possible effective date. This is a massive, complex piece of legislation, and administrative interpretation is fluid. Secure your evidence while the current expansive definitions of presumptive service are in effect. The VA's internal guidance on PACT Act implementation is constantly being updated, and these updates often involve subtle shifts in the required evidence for connecting service to exposure. For example, the criteria for establishing service in certain geographic locations might become more stringent. By proactively gathering and submitting all available supporting documentation, including anecdotal evidence and unit deployment records, you are strengthening your claim against any potential future administrative headwinds. The retroactive nature of the PACT Act means that securing your effective date as early as possible is crucial for maximizing back pay, which can amount to tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Act decisively now to capitalize on this historic expansion of benefits. 10th, locking in your VA home loan eligibility, the Certificate of Eligibility, or COE. The VA Home Loan Guarantee is arguably the most valuable financial benefit a veteran earns. It allows for 0% down payment and no private mortgage insurance. While the core benefit is unlikely to disappear, future changes often target the funding fee or the eligibility requirements related to service time or conduct. The urgency is simple. Obtain your Certificate of Eligibility, COE. Now, even if you have no immediate plans to buy a house. The COE is the formal document from the VA confirming your eligibility. Obtaining it is quick and free via the VA portal or a lender. Why secure it now? Because if the VA changes the acceptable service requirements, e.g., increasing the minimum active duty days required for recent separations, or if there are new administrative requirements added to the COE process, having the document in hand ensures your eligibility is locked in under the current favorable rules. Furthermore, the funding fee, a mandatory fee paid at closing, is subject to annual review and legislative change While the fee is usually lower for veterans with service-connected disabilities, confirming your COE and eligibility status now ensures that any future changes to the fee structure are applied based on your currently established status. This is a financial safeguard against rising costs and administrative tightening in the housing market. The COE is your golden ticket. Secure it, print it, and save it. The process for obtaining a COE is straightforward, but delays can occur if the VA requires manual verification of service records, DD 214. Initiating this process now ensures that any necessary manual review is completed long before you need the COE for a real estate transaction. Future changes to the VA home loan program might also involve stricter requirements for credit scores or debt-to-income ratios, making the COE even more valuable as a guaranteed benefit. Secure this foundational financial tool today to ensure maximum flexibility in the future housing market. 11th, reviewing life insurance, SGLI, VGLI, conversion deadlines. Service Members Group. Life insurance, SGLI, is available during service, and Veterans Group Life Insurance, VGLI, is available after separation. The urgency here is absolute. Missing the VGLI application deadline means you lose the ability to convert your SGLI into a guaranteed post-service life insurance policy without a medical exam, potentially forever. You have 1 year and 120 days from separation to apply for VGLI. If you are approaching that deadline, you must apply now. Why is this critical? Because if you have developed any health conditions during or after service, VGLI is one of the few insurance policies you can secure without being medically denied or facing exorbitant premiums. Future rule changes could target the premium structure or even the coverage amounts available under VGLI due to budgetary pressures. Securing your VGLI policy now locks in your insurability based on your current health status and ensures your family has a financial safety net. If you are already enrolled in VGLI, review your coverage amount. Many veterans default to the minimum coverage. As your family grows and your financial responsibilities increase, ensure your VGLI coverage is adequate. This is not just a VA resource, it is a critical component of your family's financial security plan. If you miss the deadline, you are forced into the commercial market, where existing service-connected disabilities can lead to massive premium increases or outright denial. Act immediately if you are still within the conversion window. For those who are already enrolled, the VA is constantly reviewing the administrative efficiency of the VGLI program. Any future changes might involve stricter requirements for increasing coverage or new administrative hurdles. By reviewing and confirming your coverage amount now, you ensure your policy is maximized under the current established guidelines. Life insurance is the ultimate protection for your dependents. Secure the maximum coverage available through VGLI while you still have guaranteed access. 12th, activating and documenting state-level veteran benefits. This is one of the most consistently overlooked areas, yet state benefits often provide immediate, tangible relief that federal benefits do not. Every state offers different resources, ranging from property tax exemptions, reduced tuition for dependents, state hiring preferences, and specific grants for housing modifications. The urgency is that state legislatures frequently change eligibility criteria, often without notice, based on state budget cycles. If you move, your old state benefits disappear, and you must reestablish eligibility in the new state. You need to identify all available benefits in your current state and secure the necessary documentation now. For example, many states offer 100% property tax exemption for veterans rated 100% P&T. Securing the necessary letter from the VA confirming this status and filing it with your county assessor is paramount. Future state legislative changes could introduce income caps or asset tests to these exemptions. Locking in your exemption now protects you from those potential changes. Don't rely on word of mouth. Contact your State Department of Veterans Affairs or a local county veteran service officer, CVSO. This is free money and free access to services that can drastically improve your quality of life. The federal VA cannot help you with state benefits, but your state VSO can. Act today to secure your state-level benefits before the next legislative session introduces restrictive changes. This involves securing specific letters of entitlement from the VA that are often required by state and local governments. For instance, a state college tuition waiver for dependents often requires a specific certification letter confirming the veteran's disability rating and service connection. Initiating the request for these specific state-required documents now ensures you have them ready before the beginning of the next academic year or property tax cycle. State benefits are often highly localized and subject to rapid change. Proactive documentation is the only way to guarantee access. 13th, formal financial planning and utilizing VA fiduciary services, if applicable. Financial stability is the cornerstone of veteran well-being. The urgency here is driven by rising inflation, complex estate planning needs, and potential changes to how the VA manages benefits for veterans deemed unable to manage their own finances. If you are receiving significant monthly compensation, you need a financial plan that accounts for future medical costs and inflation. Find a financial planner who specializes in veteran benefits and understands the tax-free nature of VA compensation. More critically, if you have a condition like severe TBI, dementia, or debilitating mental health issues that might lead the VA to appoint a fiduciary to manage your funds, you must proactively designate a trusted family member or friend now. If you do not, the VA will appoint a third party, which can lead to significant complications and loss of control. Future rule changes are likely to tighten the criteria for when a fiduciary is appointed, but they are also likely to increase the administrative burden on the appointed fiduciary. By proactively designating your preferred representative now, you maintain control over who manages your affairs should the need arise. Secure the necessary legal documentation, power of attorney, medical directives that align with your VA records. This is a vital protective measure for your assets and autonomy. The VA's fiduciary program is designed to protect vulnerable veterans, but the process can be intrusive if initiated involuntarily. By proactively establishing your preferred representative through proper legal channels and notifying the VA, you ensure that your financial affairs are handled by someone you trust implicitly, minimizing the risk of administrative overreach or mismanagement. Furthermore, a comprehensive financial plan should specifically address how VA compensation interacts with other benefits, such as Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI, to avoid potential offsets or tax complications, especially as the rules governing the coordination of these federal benefits are frequently updated. 14th, legal assistance and VSO accreditation status verification. Navigating the VA system is inherently legalistic. You will need a veteran service officer, VSO, an accredited agent, or an attorney. The urgency is that the VA is constantly refining the requirements for accreditation, and the quality of representation can vary wildly. You need to secure a relationship with a high-quality, accredited representative now, before they become overwhelmed or before the VA introduces new restrictive rules on who can represent a veteran. If you are considering an appeal, supplemental claim, higher-level review, or BVA appeal, having an accredited VSO or attorney on file immediately is non-negotiable. Future rule changes could impose new limitations on the time allowed for appeals or increase the complexity of the evidence required for successful outcomes. Locking in your representative now ensures continuity and expertise. Verify your VSO's accreditation status on the VA's website. Do not assume. A non-accredited representative cannot legally charge you for services and can only offer limited assistance. Ensure your representative is formally recognized by the VA. Furthermore, for complex claims, you should investigate specialized legal assistance. Securing a consultation now, even if you don't hire them, provides a roadmap for future claims or appeals. The legal landscape of VA claims is shifting rapidly, particularly concerning the effective dates and evidence requirements for PACT Act claims. Having an established relationship with an accredited professional ensures you receive timely advice on the best course of action before any administrative deadlines pass or new unfavorable rules take effect. The quality of your representation directly correlates with the success rate of your claim. Secure the best possible advocate today. 15th, comprehensive mental health services and documentation beyond standard appointments. Mental health is often the most challenging area of service connection, and it is frequently targeted for administrative review due to the subjective nature of the ratings. The urgency is to secure continuous, documented, and comprehensive treatment. now. Don't just rely on standard monthly appointments. Utilize specialized VA programs like Residential Rehabilitation Treatment Programs, RRTPs, Intensive Outpatient Programs, IOPs, or specialized trauma care. Documenting participation in these intensive programs provides irrefutable evidence of the severity and chronic nature of your condition, which is vital for maintaining a high disability rating. Future rule changes could increase the burden of proof required to maintain high mental health ratings, e.g., requiring more explicit evidence of occupational and social impairment. By engaging in comprehensive, structured treatment now, you are building an undeniable evidentiary record that supports the current severity of your condition. If you are considering filing for a mental health condition, ensure you have a formal diagnosis and a detailed medical nexus letter connecting it to service. Do not delay. The VA is increasingly scrutinizing claims where the evidence of continuous treatment is lacking. Secure your treatment, secure your records, and secure your rating. This is about maintaining your health and your financial stability simultaneously. The VA's rating schedule for mental health conditions relies heavily on the documented frequency and intensity of treatment, as well as the observed impact on occupational and social functioning. By proactively engaging in specialized intensive treatment programs, you are creating a robust clinical record that explicitly demonstrates the severity of your impairment, insulating your rating from future administrative reviews that might seek to lower compensation based on insufficient evidence of impact. We have covered 15 critical resources and actions, each one designed to shield you and your family from impending rule changes and administrative tightening. This is not fear-mongering, this is proactive defense. The VA system is massive, and changes, whether legislative or administrative, are constant. Waiting until the rules change means you are playing catch-up, and you risk losing thousands of dollars in back pay, critical health access, or financial security for your family. You need to act on these points today. Start with the easiest. File your intent to file for everything. You are considering and then immediately secure your digital records. Review your priority group and ensure your family dependency records are flawless for DIC eligibility. If you are within 180 days of separation, secure that comprehensive dental benefit. For those with established disabilities, maximize your VR&E and secure the documentation for A&A. Audit your PACT Act claim and lock in your VA home loan COE. Check your VGLI deadline and secure your state benefits. Finally, ensure your financial and mental health records are robust and documented. The time for passive reliance on the system is over. You earned these benefits. Now you must secure them. Don't let a bureaucratic change cost you the security you fought for. Take action now.